Teluk Customs officers of North Sumatra secure 89 illegal immigrants on board a boat and confiscate 5 packages of crystal meth. The National Election Committee monitors the printing process of ballot papers to make sure the printing and distribution of papers run smoothly. Penguins at the Scarborough Sea Life and Marine Sanctuary refuse food from their keepers, unhappy at the extreme weather.
Hello and welcome to the English News Service, airing with news from home, and I'm Kenan Judge, and those were our today's top stories. And now we begin our first report from Jakarta. The Teluk Customs officers in Tanjung Balai of North Sumatra secured 89 illegal immigrants on board a boat from Malaysia, mostly children and women. Officers also confiscated 5 packages of crystal meth.
The arrest at early dawn was possible after officers received information on the attempt to smuggle illegal substance by the illegal immigrants from Malaysia. Officers tightened its watch following the information and suspected a passenger boat, KM Bahagia, at the waters of Tanjung Jumpul in North Sumatra. In the search, officers secured 89 illegal Malaysian immigrants, and they were taken in for questioning at the Teluk Nibung International Port of Tanjung Balai. 5 packages of crystal meth of 1,216 grams, worth 1.9 billion rupiah, was also found hidden neatly inside a food processor box to trick officers. One of the illegal immigrants admitted that he never knew of the content of the package he was carrying, saying that he was promised 50 Malaysian ringgit to carry the package. He said that the package were from Malaysia.
The intensity of the volcanic activities of Mount Sinabung in KARO, North Sumatra, is considered to remain high, with the red-hot lava still flowing from the crater, along with millions of cubic meters of volcanic materials.
The alert status remains at 4 as seismic tremors continue to occur with dozens of hybrid quakes. The length of the red-hot lava flow has reached some 1,800 meters and is still growing at a rate of 5 to 10 cubic meters per second. The flow thickness reached between 50 and 70 meters. Along with the lava flow, an estimate of some 10 million cubic meters of volcanic materials have also been released. The roaring sound of Mount Sinabung can be heard at the monitoring post some 8.5 kilometers away. As the mountain is still spewing hot clouds, the red zone ban for public activities remains set at a radius of 5 kilometers from the crater.
The National Election Committee directly monitored the printing process of the ballot papers. Such monitoring is important to make sure ballot papers are well printed and distributed in the middle of March, just according to the schedule.
It is 2 months away from the April 8th election. To make sure the provision of logistical needs runs smoothly, the Central KPUD directly monitored the printing of ballot papers at one of the companies entrusted for the printing of the papers, PT Gramedia in Palmerah of West Jakarta. Chief of the KPU Husni Kamil Manik said that the PT Gramedia, as one of the company that won the tender, said that the company is ordered to print as much as 69 million to meet the need of ballot papers in the West Kalimantan, Banten and also West Java provinces. As ballot papers for voters in foreign countries will be sent to 130 representatives of the KPU on February 12th. The KPU is working together with 11 consortium of a number of printing companies to print the ballot papers. The number of ballot papers printed is accordance to the number of voters in the fixed voter list, or DPT, with an additional 2% of papers from the total number of voters in the DPT list. The ballot papers will be distributed in the middle of March.
2 months nearing the legislative election, the Mojokerto Regional Election Committee in East Java repaired damaged ballot boxes. Such repair is needed since the logistic needs of such boxes total 9,304 boxes as the supply is limited.
Regional KPUs have been gearing up for the April election by preparing logistical needs. Due to the limited logistical supply from the central KPU, the Mojokerto Election Committee have been fixing damaged broken ballot boxes and knocked down ballot centers of the 2009 general election. Meantime, according to Commissioner of the Mojokerto Election Committee, Sharif Kolili, Mojokerto needs a total of 9,304 ballot boxes and ballot stations from the total 2,306 ballot stations. The Mojokerto Election Committee cannot yet total the number of ballot boxes and booth centers needed for April's election. This is concerning as the election day is only 2 months away from now.
In response to the critical condition of garbage problems in Jakarta, some volunteers conducted the collection of coins for garbage trucks at the Hotel Indonesia roundabout in Jakarta.
The movement by activists of the Beranda Jakarta Baru and Pos Raya organization had been conducted since yesterday and was held in response to the lack of garbage trucks in Jakarta. The action coordinator Ferdi Semaun noted his concern over the lack of budgeting for the garbage trucks in the 2014 regional state budget despite the critical condition of garbage-related problems in Jakarta. He further explained the plan to establish command posts in all parts of Jakarta to accommodate the public's coin donations. In addition to the coins for garbage trucks movement, the volunteers have also conducted a number of other social projects, including clean villages, green villages, and waste-based creation, in order to help enhance the public awareness on the need to preserve the environment in safeguarding the sustainability of the earth.
And in commemoration of the Press Day, journalists in Manggarai, East Nusa Tenggara planted trees on Golokoru Hill in Ruteng.
Some 1,000 young mahogany trees were planted by the journalists at the Golokoro Hill in KARO village, also involving local residents and students, as well as police and military officials. The tree planting at the religious tourism site was enthusiastically welcomed by those involved, as indicated by the number of participants, which reached some 800 people. The project has been supported by the local government. Deputy Region of Manggarai, Deno Kamelus, was among those planting the trees in commemoration of the National Press Day. The Golokoro Hill is the source of drinking water for 4 local districts and is currently considered to be in an alarming environmental condition due to illegal logging activities. The reforestation of the hill is expected to help preserve the environment.
And to strengthen the naval patrol fleet, the Ocean Security Coordination Board, Bakor Kamla, recently received a state ship.
The new ship produced by the national ship industry in Batam will be used for the patrol fleet in Ambon, the Moluccas. The official operation of the patrol ship was inaugurated by the coordinating Minister for Politics, Law and Security, retired Marshal Joko Suyanto, at Bakor Kamlas Jembatan 2 Balelang Pier in Batam, Riau Islands on Saturday morning. The newly inaugurated ship named Kuda Laut 4803 was the third of the 6 ships ordered by Bakor Kamla from the national ship industry. The patrol ship is equipped with water cannon with a 100-meter shooting distance, as well as a 20mm cannon and a number of personal guns. The provision of the weaponry has been financed under the budget of the Ministry of Defense.
And from Surabaya, thousands of counterfeit cosmetics of various brands and a number of illegal addictive drugs and marijuana were destroyed by the authorities of the Surabaya State Court. Those were proof of crimes of 2013, which the judicial process have been completed.
The proofs were burned in the central yard of the Surabaya State Court building, witnessed by officials of the National Narcotics Board and the Surabaya Police Force. Among those destroyed were marijuana from 32 crime cases, 394 grams of sabu-sabu from 167 cases, and thousands of illegal addictive pills. The proofs have been confiscated during the past 4 months, with the judicial process completed by the end of 2013. Despite the decrease in the number of narcotics-related cases in 2013, the high number of counterfeit cosmetics confiscated indicated that Surabaya is still a haven for traders of illegal items.
Welcome back to English News Service. Flooding caused by the heavy rainfall in Uruguay displaced some 2,800 people across the small South American nation.
The regions most affected by flooding are Montevideo and Canelones, authorities say. In Ciudad de la Costa, 20 kilometers or 12 miles outside of capital Montevideo, cars were submerged in water and streets and homes completely flooded. The flood waters hit Ciudad de la Costa in the Canelones regions quickly, residents reported. Other regions affected by the rains are Rio Negro, Soriano, Colonia, Florida, San Jose, Durazno, Maldonado, La Faleja and Rocha. More rains are forecast over next 5 days.
And from Bolivia, desperate families laid their homes in northeastern Bolivia as deadly flood waters continue to rise in swaths of the country, affecting some 44,000 residents and killing at least 38 others.
Families bundled as much as they could onto canoes as they prepared to leave the town of Begona for higher ground after they were quickly swamped by the swollen Ibari River. With more than 100 municipalities affected by floodwaters, families have been forced to venture out to higher ground, with some communities reportedly left without food and drinking water. Officials report that over 17,000 hectares of prime agricultural land has been flooded across Bolivia, devastating subsistence farmers. In Hacienda Tres Islas, farmers are counting stock of lost cattle, with many fearing ruin. With agricultural communities and towns cut off by the deadly floods, the nation's armed forces have been using barges to carry dozens of tons of food and supplies to people cut off by the floods. The Air Force is also preparing to run flights to reach those furthest out, some of whom have not yet received any kind of assistance. With relentless rains expected to batter parts of Bolivia until mid-March, some believe the recent floods could be worse than the country's devastating 2007 El Niño floods, which displaced nearly 500,000 people.
And let's jump to Middle East. Dozens of Syrian civilians have left the rebel-held city of Homs amid a temporary ceasefire, seeking food and medical aid from rescue workers and health officials.
Under a UN-negotiated ceasefire agreement between rebels and the Syrian government army, buses were allowed to enter the besieged city over the weekend for the evacuations of civilians. Up to 3,000 civilians are thought to be trapped in homes. Accompanied by the Syrian branch of the Arab Red Crescent aid group, the evacuees were ferried to a meeting point outside Homs where aid workers, soldiers and police were gathered. The military have preparations of their own, inspecting all the evacuation buses and maintaining a ceasefire that will allow the process to go ahead. Homs Governor Talal al-Barazi on Friday said the government and the UN were still discussing the delivery of medical and food aid. Homs is Syria's third largest city, and it has been a key battleground in the conflict against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Many neighborhoods are lying in ruins after heavy bombardments over the past 3 years. The situations on the ground in Homs was discussed during the Geneva II peace talks in Switzerland 1 week ago.
And from Eastern Europe, according to the Kiev-based political analysts, compromise made by relevant parties in forming a new government is the key to end the Ukraine's political standoff that bitterly polarized the nation.
Accepting former Prime Minister Mykola Azarov's offer of resignation, the Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych appointed Serhiy Arbuzov, Ukraine's first deputy prime minister, as the interim prime minister to head the cabinet. Previously, Azarov's proposal to nominate opposition leader Viktor Yushchenko as Prime Minister and leader of the Ukrainian Democratic Alliance for Reform Vitaly Klitschko as Deputy Prime Minister was turned down and triggered differences among opposition parties. Analysts say the president's offer may be helpful to opposition leaders' political career, but it fails to bring expected benefit to the opposition parties within the current presidential system. To restrict the president's power, Ukraine's opposition parties proposed to reform the country's constitution, planning to gain parliamentary approval of a new constitution before September 2014.
And from Asia, Tokyo residents cast their ballots to elect a new governor. Heavy snowfall delayed setup of some polling stations, causing up to 2-hour delays in some areas.
Media surveys have shown former Health Minister Yoichi Matsuzoi, backed by the ruling Liberal Democratic Party or LDP, is far ahead in popularity against ex-Prime Minister Morihiro Hosokawa, a candidate who was made opposition to nuclear power his platform. Matsuzoi's victory would be a relief for Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who suffered a rare setback last month when an LDP-backed candidate lost an election for mayor of the city of Nago on Okinawa Island to the incumbent, who opposes a government plan to move a U.S. Marines airbase to his city. Matsuzoi, 65, has campaigned on promises to improve social welfare in the capital city of 13.3 million people and to ensure the success of the 2020 Olympics, which Tokyo will host. He has not made energy policy a prime focus, although he has said Japan should reduce its dependence on nuclear power in the medium to long term. Nuclear energy has become contentious in Japan since the March 2011 disaster at the Fukushima nuclear power plant north of Tokyo, triggered by an earthquake and tsunami. It was the world's worst nuclear accident since Chernobyl in 1986.
And as the United Kingdom continues to suffer from extreme weather that has battered parts of the country, there is one casualty that has so far received a little attention.
Penguins at the Scarborough Sea Life and Marine Sanctuary are currently refusing food from their keepers, unhappy at the weather. More accustomed to the warmer climes and less changeable seasons of Peru and Chile, the sanctuary's aquarist, John Saunders, said that he was not surprised at their behavior.
Alright, 3 fluffy Bengal tiger cubs are fast becoming a must-see for visitors at the Cali Zoo in Colombia after the cats made their first public appearance.
Children from local schools flocked to the zoo to catch a glimpse of the cubs who were born in November of last year to the zoo's tigress named Indira. The 3 cubs emerged from their lair for the first time on Friday afternoon. The zoo spokesperson Susan Posada stated that the big news is that the cubs came out of their lair, so all the visitors of the zoo can see the cubs live and direct. They are getting stronger, so it's very nice to see. Prior to the birth, the zoo had set up video cameras in the lair to record Indira's progress and the delivery. After the cubs were born, the zoo opted to keep the cameras up and follow their progress. The cubs had to remain in their den with their mother for 3 months until they were strong enough to venture outside. The cubs were born yellow, although Indira is a white tigress, the result of a recessive gene.
And we will be back right after the Azan Maghrib. Stay tuned. More than 130 years, mixed breed dogs got a chance to show their chops at the Westminster Kennel Club show. And that ends today's edition of English Service. I'm Kenan just signing off. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
The famed show opened with a separate agility competition that allowed dogs of a more modest pedigree to display their skills in a venue traditionally reserved for purebreds. The agility competition measures its participants' skills in events such as the tunnel dash and high jump. The dogs go through an obstacle course that features tunnels, ramps, and wave pools. The two-day show opens on February 10 and 11 at Madison Square Garden and Piers 92 and 94.